So let's walk through an example of what we mean by vibe coding options analytics. So this is cvforge. We're going to click on new app to create. This is what we always do. Click on new app, and this is going to be called vibe 1. We put the title of the thing right here, and we're going to use Claude Code. Yeah, let's use Claude Code. Let's use Codex. And because, yeah, either works really good, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's start with something very simple. Let's say, give me an option chain displaying fair market value, volume, open interest, and the Greeks. Just a table. I want to pick expirations and range of strikes. Okay, and I assume, yeah, let's just see what it does. So this is what we're asking for here is, and I think the agent is going to understand this, is just the typical one, the typical options chain that you're used to with in any of your trading engines or whatever. So it's going to call, it's doing its thing. We're going to let it do its thing. Okay, so this is the classic table that we have here, the option chain that you'll see anywhere. Strikes down the middle, puts, calls, that's very basic. And this might be enough for a lot of things. Now, the reason that you might want to vibe code analytics is you might say, I actually want to see a column that is volume divided by open interest, right? I don't need to see all the Greeks. I just want to see implied volatility. So you can say that, right? And say, let's add a column with divided by OI. Let's remove the Greeks. Let's add an IV column. And it's going to do that, right? So now we've morphed what is initially a very standard thing that is good for most people, and maybe for you as well, into something that we want to see. Because let's say that we care about volume and the volume OI ratio, and we don't care about the Greeks right now, and we only care about IV. So boom, now it's morphed this app into this very special this different thing. Now you might say, yeah, but I mean volume OI, like a bunch of services have that. Like that's just a thing that you add in the columns. That's true. So now we can say, okay, actually, what I want to do is I want all of the I want to highlight all the contracts that have a volume OI ratio greater than 20. So now this is we're moving from general things that most screens have to things that we care about very particularly. So here we're saying, okay, look at that. Now look at that. Now we've created something that is interesting for our analysis, right? So we have, let's do the max strike, and actually let's look at SpaceX, right? And see, that one only has that call right there. Let's look at NVIDIA. That one has that call right there, and it has these two puts over here. See, I had no idea what I was. The volume OI ratio of 20, that just occurred to me. But let's say, okay, now actually I want to be able to control the highlighting. So I'm telling it I want to be able to control the vol OI ratio, so not just the fixed 20. And so it's going to add a numeric minimum vol OI ratio, and um, it's going to let us control what the threshold is for this filter, which ones it's highlighting. And there we go. We can see it created the thing right here. And now let's say that we want we also want to highlight the range that of one standard deviation range. So I told it I want to be able to visualize the one standard deviation range. And the thing is, look at what it said. So you don't need to be that precise. So all the language that I've been doing in this session here, it's very general language. And so here I said I want to be able to visualize the one standard deviation range. So I know what the one standard deviation, how you do it, but if you don't know it, it doesn't matter. You can ask it for it. And so here it says, oh, I'll add a one standard deviation range, directly compute it from the selected expirations at the money IV and underlying price, show the lower and upper bounds of the status line, and tint strike rows inside that range. So, okay, so now we should be, and okay, let's go 62,800. Now I'm realizing something here, that we can't scroll down. I can't scroll down, bro. So fix that. And yeah, like I can't scroll down. So we're gonna say just fix it. And this should be all right. Now it's scrolling. Now let's do a bigger range. Let's do like 600 to 800 range to test whether, okay, so here we can see how the one standard deviation range was created. So now what we've created is this custom options chain that shows the things that we care about, which I just came up with right on the spot right now. And it's these columns: fair market value, volume, open interest, this ratio. I then just said highlight the ones that have more than 20 volume OI ratio. You might have a completely different criteria, and I want to highlight the one standard deviation range. So now we can see very clearly that, oh, there's this one above this ratio, and outside the one standard deviation range. And then here there's these ones above that ratio within the one standard deviation range. Now I particularly don't have this, I just came up with this. This isn't necessarily something that I do on my day-to-day basis. But if you have certain flows of certain processes that you carry out every day, or you carry out constantly, or you want to discover, and you have to look for different tools to accomplish that, or like write things down, and which is, I'm thinking about this, actually a pretty good idea. So if you have to do a lot of manual stuff, you can just create this thing that does the things that you would do otherwise automatically, or at least makes it easier to do this. So now, boom, we have this. Then, yeah, I'm going to click here to make it big. And look at that beautiful options chain. I mean, what an amazing thing. All right, download cvforge.